Okay, let's graph y equals log to the base 2 of negative x minus 2 in brackets plus 2 and state the asymptote, domain and range. We're going to graph y equals log to the base 2 of x and perform a series of transformations. So what are those transformations going to be for starters? So we've got this here is actually log to the base 2 of negative of x plus 2. So the negative is going to reflect the graph of log to the base 2 of x plus 2 about the y-axis. Now also this plus 2, so remember we're looking initially at y equals log to the base 2x, so the plus 2 is a horizontal translation 2 to the left. And then over here we've got a plus 2 as well. Now that's a vertical translation 2 in the y direction. So starting again with y equals log 2x, first we want to find what the inverse function is, so that is equal to y equals 2 to the x. So the asymptote for y equals 2 to the x, as we know, is y equals 0. So as x approaches a large negative value, y approaches 0, but never actually gets to 0. Now the y-intercept, when x equals 0, y is equal to 2 to the 0, which equals 1. So we've got 0, 1. And for another point on the graph, when x equals 1, y equals 2 to the 1 equals 2. So 1, 2. So putting in those values, we've got 0, 1 and 1, 2. And then we can go ahead and graph. And this is y equals 2 to the x. Now to get what y equals log to the base 2 of x is, you can reflect that about y equals x. So reflecting, instead of 0, 1 for this point, we've got 1, 0, and instead of 1, 2, we've got 2, 1. And then our asymptote is now x equals 0. So we go ahead and draw this in. So this is the graph for y equals log to the base 2 of x. Okay, so now let's carry out some translations to get to the y equals log to the base 2 of negative of x plus 2 plus 2. Okay, firstly, the x plus 2 is just log 2 of x translated horizontally to the left 2 units. So 1, 0 becomes negative 1, 0, and 2, 1 becomes 0, 1. And our x equals 0 asymptote becomes x equals negative 2. So then graphing that translation, we've got y equals log to the base 2 of x plus 2. And now, because of this negative, we're going to perform a reflection about the vertical axis. So we actually get this shape, where it's still approaching x equals negative 2. So this is negative 3, 0, and this is negative 4, 1. So with the translation, the vertical shift of positive 2, we've got negative 3, 0 now becomes negative 3, 2. And negative 4, 1 becomes negative 4, 3. Now remembering there's no change to the asymptote. So this is the graph of y equals log to the base 2 of negative x minus 2 plus 2. Okay, lastly, looking at the red graph, y equals log to the base 2 of negative x minus 2 plus 2. The domain, so that's the x values, is negative infinity is less than x is less than negative 2. Or you could say negative infinity to negative 2 like that with rounded brackets. And the range is negative infinity is less than y is less than infinity, or negative infinity to infinity, or plus or minus all real numbers.